Well, hello and welcome. I'm Sue Britz.
And I'm Tina Lookbuck. Welcome to Retired.
It's the podcast where we talk about what life is like when we put on new tread, new wheels that move us to our next adventure. Tina, guess who's in the studio?
I know. I'm so excited.
Our friend Sharon is here. Would you like to introduce her?
Sharon, 1997, we met front office at a Spanish immersion elementary school. And I feel really honored that she's here with us. And is probably one of the most special people I've known in my 5.5 decades alive. And that's the truth, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon, hi.
I'm already crying.
Oh, it's true, though.
Oh, right back at you, Chica.
We're so excited to have you in our studio and joining our show today, Sharon. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I am honored to be here and to be asked to do this. This is wonderful.
You're hilarious. An honor. She's calling us an honor, Tina.
And it's an honor to have her. It's a mutual thing.
We're very audible this morning.
Yes.
Okay, I do have to say, we couldn't coordinate a time until very bright and early, and it is 7 o'clock now. I got up at
7:13.
Yeah, okay. But apparently that's because I'm retired. I'm not used to getting up like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And Sharon, what's your regular get up time?
3:30.
And we'll talk about that more as we go. So this brings us to this first segment that we have and our topic of the day. So then that brings us to our headlight question.
Sharon, what does your road to retirement look like?
10 weeks left, I guess. That's the road that's left.
Wow. You see that finish line? Do you taste it?
Yeah, I've actually calculated the minutes left as well.
Oh my God. You know what you just did to me? You just brought me back, and you would always have like the countdown. And now you're in the countdown of minutes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I'm just a numbers person, but I mean, I guess there's a broader question there, isn't it? What was your road to retirement? Long time coming, I guess. Earlier than I planned to, but I'm really confident in my decision that I've made.
So, Sharon, when I met you in 97, how many years into teaching were you at that time?
6 months.
Holy shit. You were only 6 months ahead of me?
Yeah. I started.
Wow.
Yeah, I started in January. I took over for a teacher. And that was probably the trial by fire. That was the hardest experience. And then I met you that next school year in August.
Hey, what about me?
I met Sue before that when I took over for the teacher in January. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have 6 months on me then with Sue.
Right.
Got it.
Exactly.
Well, not that our roads cross much. What grade were you doing then?
4th grade.
Oh yeah. So we kind of did. Okay, you were 4th from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing that has kind of bonded us. We were the intermediate team, and in order to survive, in order to get through it all, whether you're 6 months in a career, or I think I had I don't know 5-6 years at that point, but you have to bond. You have to bond.
Yeah, there is a special thing of special Spanish immersion for sure. And because you're doing extra work, you're translating everything, you're always thinking in the foreign language, you're trying to figure out how to get that stuff across and make it fun. And it's a lot, and it does bond you for sure. We're very Spanglishy, aren't we?
We are. And I think we had a different level of involvement with parents, unlike many public schools, where there is a greater amount. So it's kind of like an even bigger team outside of the teachers team. We also have the parent team too.
Definitely. I remember you could email parents, and within 2 hours, you'd have whatever supplies you needed, or I'll
So
talk with
true.
my kid about that, or whatever. But in the same token, there was a lot of pressure. It was, my child is gifted at math. What are you going to do for him? And um, all these extra added things. But they stepped up to the plate, the parents for sure.
Always.
Yeah.
And well, I know about that because Sharon was my kid's teacher.
Oh,
Ah,
that's
That's
remember back
right.
in the days?
very sweet kid.
So that's the beginning of your teaching. So tell us more. What's the path that you've taken, and how did you make this decision?
I thought I would be fourth grade for 30 years. It was fun. I enjoyed the social studies. It was a good road. 13th year teaching was probably the hardest and most stressful year. I think
Wow.
a third of my class was special needs in some form, a lot of counseling issues without a counselor on campus. And I had a lot of kids with breakdowns, hiding under the desk, just divorces, a lot just kids who really just needed a lot of extra support. And that was when I started Googling, I hate teaching, teaching sucks, can I retire after 13 years, and all these things.
We've heard this story. This story is so repetitive. It is you're laughing so that you're not crying, I think.
You're right.
And yet we do laugh. We do have to find humor in it because this is a story we've felt ourselves and we keep hearing. So, yeah.
Yeah, but you get through it, and that's the beauty of teaching. You finish up after 180 days and you start anew the next year. But it was kind of a golden age of teaching as well. The parents' support, the kids' willingness to really work hard. And then, maybe about the 15th, 16th year, we had admin making us do things we didn't really want to do. And I had to file a couple grievances for that, which we won, and it made our jobs a little bit easier. But after that, it was a little bit toxic. It was very uncomfortable, and I thought something has to change, and it's going to have to be me. So I moved to the junior high with the same Spanish immersion program, um, and I have to say that was easier. Junior high teaching is easier. You can focus on your subject. I have the passion for Spanish like you guys do, and I just love to be celebrating that every single day. So,
Sharon, can you tell us about, without details obviously, but about those grievances? What was it that you were asked to do that you guys didn't want to do?
the one major one was at fourth, fifth, sixth. You're in a contained classroom with your kids all day. And the principal had the idea of turning us into basically a junior high, and she wanted to separate the English out. So my kids would have to rotate to my colleague for English at the end of the day. And I had a lot of sacred things in English that I love doing with my kids, some read alouds, writing programs, that kind of thing. And I lost that. Of course, I got it with another group, but you kind of lost your connection with your kids. And that was really hard because we didn't have the programs in place. We didn't have the grading the structures and that kind of thing. It was hard to coordinate. How did we do conferences? How did we now had 60 kids instead of 30. So that it was extra work and it was very stressful. So yeah, we filed agreements about
So
that.
that was like a program change and
Yeah.
the structural program change. That's a big deal. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'd like to interject, and that's when I came back from being a stay at home mom with a tutoring business at home. And I came back into that environment as the English teacher for the sixth grade team.
Hmm.
So that's how I stepped in, and then it continued as Sharon was teaching.
Did you two cross over when you came back, Tina?
Yeah,
Yes.
briefly.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
All right.
One of the reasons I was excited to come back, actually, and
Aw.
kind of sad when I lost her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was a hard time for you too personally.
Yeah.
A lot of things are going on for you, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So then you moved over to junior high. Life is different. It's funny because I started my career in junior high as a teacher on emergency credential, and I liked it. I mean, I was teaching Spanish for Spanish speakers and Spanish too, and ESL, which is English as a second language, or it was TOEFL back, teaching English as a second language back in those days. And then as I got my credential, I started in sixth grade and moved to the intermediate or elementary school. So different path, interesting. So your path continues.
Yeah, but so just to interject, you became the queen of the 5-6 combo, unfortunately, and you were stuck doing that.
So true.
And I don't know how you did that. I did a 4-5 a couple times, and again, it's double
Brutal.
teaching basically, but you were just thrust into that every single year.
It's true.
Well, kind of like you're right, because queen is something that you're born into or thrust into. You don't get to choose it. So, and I'll
true.
accept the crown unwillingly. Okay, but anyhow, we're on to junior high. By the way, we love analogies and metaphors here. We use them all the time. So, thank you for the queen, the crown. I'll take it.
You're welcome. We're language teachers. That's what we do.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Junior high,
junior high.
yeah, it's been great. And yeah, being able to focus on the one language and just celebrating it. But I have to say the pandemic changed things. Although the pandemic teaching for me was very easy because I didn't have to commute yeah. So, and the district, in its wisdom, actually halved our classes. So we usually teach 5 classes per year. I took on an extra class that year, so for 2 quarters I was teaching only 2 classes, and then the rest I was teaching 4 classes. So it was a lot. It was a work reduction basically. So I had a lot of freedom. Clearly it was hard because you've got the black screens and you don't see your kids, and the connections were lost, and their language really went down.
Yes.
It was very difficult for them. So when we came back, and then the hybrid, that was even worse. It was like I kept forgetting the people on the screen at home and focusing on people in
You're
class.
right, because you're pinging back
Yeah.
and forth like a ping pong ball being seen on the screen. At
Yeah.
least I did when I went back. It was hard. And we even played PE with a computer. I would bring that person with me on a computer and laid it out so they could play PE with us.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know how people did elementary. For me, it was much easier at junior high. But yeah, and then coming back, it was, again, you're combating people addicted to their phones and their tech
Yes.
and the social media, and their language skills were low. And then just the apathy and the attention span was much less.
Yep.
And I feel like now I have to be much more entertaining. And
Even more? Oh my word! Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were already doing a show and dance. I mean,
Yeah, it's been hard. So the last 2 or 3 years have been definitely a struggle with different things. Sometimes I feel very invisible in class. Sometimes.
what do you mean? What do you mean by invisible?
Thank you for that. I felt that, Sharon,
Yeah.
and I want to hear your explanation.
Yeah,
But that is such a good word because I felt it too.
yeah. It's your you put on your Música Miércoles song, and people are chatting in English in front of you while you're singing, and or they're having conversations about not related to class or the articles you're reading or whatever, and so you're like, does anybody see me trying to compart
Yep.
something to you? So that's been really hard, and so I'm basically teaching right now for the kids that are still with me, the ones that have got their eyeballs on me or their books open to the literature we're reading, or discussing what we're reading, volunteering to read aloud, those kind of things, just trying to have fun with those kids. And
It's
there are more
hard.
behavior issues too that I've noticed that I didn't really have before. Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had a kid. He just stood up during class, farted
Walked
on
out.
purpose, and then sat back down.
Wow.
And you're like, what is that? So yeah, as far as the path to retirement, my husband announced he was going to retire in December 24. And so I didn't want to leave the middle of a school year. So I thought, do I go June 24 or June 25? And I really didn't want to be leaving for 6 months to work while he was in his pajamas on the couch. And so I thought I'm going to go before him. Crunched the numbers and realized I could afford it. And that was that.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And also,
Wow.
I did go turn to advice from a wonderful person named Sue. I met with
Oh,
Sue in October and said, I've got all these questions. Please help me. And whenever I think about retirement and like, did I do the right thing making this choice? I hear Sue's words in my head and they're, just do it. Just do it. You know how she does. Just do it.
Well, to me, thank you. I don't, but it is helpful to have someone else who's gone before you help, make that jump because it's a little bit scary. I mean, we know that as teachers, what we're going to get in retirement is hardly anything with regard to being able to make a living here in California. Um, so knowing if you've got all your ducks in line and you can afford to do it, and again go back, with the privilege of having your spouse be able to help you out or other situations in your life that are
if
able
you
to
have a
support you.
spouse.
If that's another assumption, and that can you make this happen? I said if you can do that, if you can make it happen financially, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I probably should have retired a couple years ago, but I wasn't 55 yet.
Well, and that's part of it too, your age. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the next question, Sharon. How are you going to retire? What new treads are you going to put on? What's your life going to look like? What do you think?
Yeah, I want to just spend more time with my dog, honestly. But being teachers, we plan things, and I've already got the list called retirement things to do. I really want to get more involved in dog rescue
Oh,
and more into legislation like backyard breeders and things like that, which is kind of causing a lot of the shelters to be overrun. Possibly get into transport of dogs to no-kill shelters or places in Montana, Idaho, whatever. Because I support a few organizations already, and I just want to get more involved. The library has a couple of volunteer opportunities of helping people with tech and literacy for adults. And I think to be someplace where you have a purpose and somebody actually is there and wants your help as an educator really appeals to me. And of course, focusing on health, I talked
Yes.
to one friend, he retired at 55. He was admin at a university. And he said right after he retired, he lost a lot of his aches and sores and that kind of thing. And I just thought, wow, this job does take a toll on your mental and your physical. And so I just really want to,
Excellent.
you know,
Stress is a killer. I mean,
yeah.
literally.
And you think about this job all the time.
you do.
It's oh, you get summers off. Not really, because you're always thinking about it. You're always planning. I work a lot. During the summers, I work on the weekends.
Yep.
Vacation, I've been doing some work, and so it never leaves you, and I don't think it will ever leave you. You still have dreams, I think. I'm following a lot of retired teacher Facebook pages, and people still have the Sunday scaries and the nightmares about kids from years before, So just, yeah, focus on health and, yeah.
Just to clarify here for our listeners, if you're not in education, Sharon mentioned she's working while still on vacation. Her vacation, by the way, is not a paid vacation, it's just time unemployed. And then summer is also time unemployed. It is not a vacation in normal sense. In holidays, national holidays are not paid either. They're just days that you are not working. So we work on contracts based on our number of days, and everything else is unpaid.
And I would like to point out too that even during the school year, how often are we working on the weekends? Are we working beyond the hours that we should be done? And that's where it really is a life consuming thing,
Hmm.
because if you're not planning, then you're grading. If you're not grading, then you're trying to figure out what to do with your behavioral problems and how to make it smoother. So then you research, you Google, you talk to people. It is such an infinite, continuous, nonstop trajectory.
Absolutely. And the financial thing, too, when I first became a teacher, we would travel to Spain so I could buy books in Spanish, and I would then mail them to myself. And I don't know how many thousands of dollars of books I bought for my classroom because you just had to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to interject. So, my last year teaching, I did a small stint at the high school that I graduated from. And would you believe that people started cutting back on people? The paper supply was being taken, and as a result the librarian became the gatekeeper to the paper and started rationing how much. And I am a brand new back to high school teacher with no proper books and workbooks or anything, and I relied on printing. And so I ended up having to buy my own reams of paper, keep them in my classroom, keep them in the car, because I would, for weeks, I had no paper and people were complaining. And this is like a basic, to me, a God given
Yeah.
right as a teacher. And it was almost like humbling to a different level. Like I felt like I was cut at the knees in a different way. Behavior thing is one thing and not getting support is another. But when you don't have paper, that's a whole other level.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I've been trying to educate my aunt about what teaching entails and stuff, and she really had no idea. And I said, "Yeah, teachers actually have the highest rate of bladder infections." She's like, "Why? Why? Because we never go. I've got periods 1 through 4 straight through till lunch, and I usually can hold it, but I have to admit sometimes I'm just going to dash." And you have to either call somebody or just hope that the kids don't vandalize something while you're gone. Because
It's true.
yeah,
I remember bringing that to the negotiating table when I was teaching, and the administrators would just looked at me like, "What are you
Like there's
talking
something
about?
wrong with you.
What are you talking about?" And I said, I'm speaking up. I'm a woman who's gone through menopause. Let me speak up for women, okay? Men have to go through this too, but women have another issue where they're going to have to deal with their period and stuff. Excuse me, but you're holding your bladder. You're holding everything. It is crazy. And long term, it is not good. And so I am pleased and happy that you are joining us in retirement from the classroom. And you're going to be able to work on your health. We all do. It's amazing. Health, sleep, stress, everything changes. So I'm very happy and excited for you.
thank you.
Um, I have a question to follow up on that. What are you going to do in retirement? But that list of like things you want to do you see it reforming you? Do you see yourself having a new identity within your retirement?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. I'd like to think so. I mean, I would like to take some time where I just do absolutely nothing. I think it's hard for us to do that.
Yep.
Yesterday was my first day of spring break. Last weekend actually.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I worked on school stuff, and then yesterday I thought,
Of
okay,
course.
I'm doing zero school stuff, and I'm going to be a lazy butt. And then I ended up cleaning the refrigerator. So, but it was glorious. And I went for a walk, and it was, the birds were singing, and I thought this is a little practice of retirement. Just this one little freedom day. Um, where I wasn't, of course, I was thinking about work and kids and things like that. And then I got an email from a parent and I responded to that. But
See,
besides
even
that,
on your vacation,
I
that is my
know,
point. It
I know.
never ends
It doesn't. You're right.
until it ends.
Yeah. But as far as the identity thing, oh, I don't know. I just want to be still a productive member of society, even in retirement. And, I think we all do. We want to help people or animals and, just be good people.
So I want to expand on first. I remember, I believe it was your 40th birthday, and you had all of us donate to, I think it was German Shepherd specifically rescue.
Yeah. Of
At
Sac
that
Valley.
point, you didn't want a gift, you wanted a donation to your cause. And is that right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And we still have adopted dogs from him and I still support him. Yeah.
So, what I want to say is, and I'm very proud of you because you're just going further into something you've always felt passionate about.
Oh,
And I believe this passion is going to do a lot of good, um, because you are so strong in this value. And I'm excited and happy to hear that you're going to pursue it more. So, one thing I think is true, and Sue and Sharon correct me, and Sharon, you're not there yet, but you'll be on this side. Um, I believe that teaching in so many respects gives a very well-rounded human skills. We learn how to deal with people, how to lead people, how to make things that are difficult to understand understandable. And so I believe that when you talked about legislature, all of your teaching skills are actually going to make you excellent at this, and working with people and how to write well and all of it. So I'm very excited for you. And I think you're going to see these skills really flourish and go to another level.
oh, Tina, what a compliment. You
Yeah.
are awesome. Thank you.
It's totally true. I thought the same thing as she was saying that. I thought, well, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, a final question about retirement, your path, because this is interesting because our podcast is about being retired, having this new identity, and it's interesting having someone who's on the cusp. So, thank you for sharing all that you have. The last question I have for you is about how are you going to make this literal transition these last how many days is it?
48.
How many seconds is it? No. So in the last
No,
48
but I
days.
do want to know how many minutes. How
How,
many minutes?
how many minutes?
It's written on my board, but it's like 12,000 something.
Oh, that's not
Okay.
too many. That's pretty good. So how are you going to celebrate? What's it going to look
Wow.
like this end of the year? Because it's different now. We're post pandemic, and I want to hear how are you going to celebrate?
True.
On the day of or just in general?
All of
or-
it.
Well, yeah, because like our schools may and our colleagues may do something for us. Our district may do something for us, and then you may do something for yourself, for your colleagues. I don't know. So, what's it going to look like for you?
So last year, the last day of school, my husband and I went to a whiskey festival. It was a charitable event, so it was quite pricey, but it was I married a half Brit, so of course we drink scotch. So that was a great way to celebrate the end of the school year. Unfortunately, it's not happening on the same day this year, and I have thought about what am I going to do on that last day of school. Um, there is a book club that I want to, because I don't really go out in the evenings, because I go to bed so early. But
Because
there,
you're up at 3:30.
yeah, but there is a book club, mystery book club in Sac at this used bookstore we support, and they're having a meeting on that Thursday. So I thought about that. But my neighbor, who we're very close with, her and her friend invited us to dinner. They gave us a dinner thing for Christmas, and I thought, maybe we should go to dinner. Just do that. I don't want a big thing. There are two other people retiring from my school as well. And so we've been talking about like, what do you want to do? Are we going to have to, do something? Or I don't know about the district. I don't really go to the district thing. Haven't gone for many
Times
years.
haven't changed.
Yeah. So if I got to get a water bottle out of the district, that'll be great.
For all your years of service. Oh God.
I did email the superintendent to let him know, only because there was an MOU about people who let the district know before January 19th, I think it was, or something, we'd get $1,000 stipend. Have you heard about this?
Wow.
I think I did, yes.
Yeah, and I thought, ooh, $1,000, woohoo! But I thought, okay, let's not, pass aside $1,000. So I thought, okay, I'll do this. But there was nothing in the language of the MOU about how you actually tell people. I wasn't sure who to tell. And I wasn't kind of ready with my paperwork yet at that point. And so I thought, well, if I just email the superintendent, that'll take care of it.
Right. I would think so too.
Yeah, and I emailed him and I never got anything back. I thought it would have been so nice
Wow.
to have just heard, something about, wow, thanks for your service. So it was kind of disappointing. So I'm not really expecting much from the district. And, I went down the other day to the district office. I haven't been there in years. And it's like Fort Knox now. You go down there and there's like
It's true.
this big counter and they have to buzz you in. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. It could be the, restraining orders they have against people. I'm not sure what is. But I walked in, I said, hi, I need to talk to somebody in HR. Well, who are you? Do you have an appointment?
Wow.
And I was
Times
like,
have
wow,
changed.
I have served
Yeah.
this district for 28 years. And that's why, of course, they don't know me from Adam, And it was so quiet in there. I thought, wow, this is what working in an office is like, because junior high, my God, it's chaos, down the halls every day. And I finally was allowed to go into HR. And again, I said, hey, I'm handing in something for retirement, and nothing about, oh, wow, that's
Wow.
great. I've seen your name in emails, or congratulations, where did you work? Thanks for your service.
Nothing.
Nothing like that. It was, yeah, the paperwork goes to this person, and it's her second day on the job. And so we're going to have to check with STRS and see how to deal with this. And I thought, oh my
Wow.
gosh, if that's the case, knowing that STRS has kind of boo-booed on some things with other people who retired last year, including, it's been written up in the B,
Wow.
as well as districts reporting people's incomes incorrectly and that kind of thing. So I thought, great, I'm
Wow.
handing this paperwork hoping that they'll report accurate information, and this person's been on the job for 2 days. So I thought, wow, yeah.
Wow.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, lady.
It was really surprising. It was,
Yeah.
because we are so, and you guys said something in your podcast that I listened to yesterday about we're always caring for others. We're caring for students and parents, our other colleagues. You guys are mothers, your kids, your dogs, and finally when you're retired, you get to be a little bit selfish. You get to care about yourself. And
That's not selfish. That's just
yeah.
what it
That's
should
the
be.
programming that we are led to believe that it's a selfish thing to think of yourself, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's actually a necessity. And now you finally have the time and ability to think about yourself.
That you're I'm glad I asked the question because
Me
you
too.
it isn't different. I thought maybe it would be different for you, and it really is. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. It's it's good to put it out there for people to know and or hear what their experience is. Just to, I mean, missing your colleagues, that's it. Your friends are going to be in contact with you and so forth. But the colleagues that are just colleagues and the district and so forth, everything just moves on.
I have a
And
theory
yeah,
because I think it has changed. And I think it's really about money. And I think that money, uh, to employ people, like it's kind of like the first thing that came to my mind right now, it's kind of like a cattle call. And like you're in the fence right now to be executed and out the door.
oh my gosh.
Um, I know that's a
God.
little grim, but that's how I
A
see it. And
little.
there's a line behind you, and everybody that is there doing the executions, letting you out of the pen,
What?
are burned out too. I think what has
Okay,
happened is
yeah.
we have not enough money to perform the jobs, all of us, and I'm talking at the district office too. I don't know about the EPIEPs, but I do believe that we aren't compensated enough for the time that we're giving, and everyone is just kind of limping to every finish line because the demands of what we're supposed to do keep increasing, and really our pay is not increasing. Even if they increased our pay, even if they gave me $1 million, I could not handle the stress anymore of what we're supposed to do because it has changed that much over the decades. And so, what I'm assuming, Sharon, and as you said, this person was there for 2 days because the person before her is simply tired and burned out and said, you know what, I think I'm going to retire. And I might even retire early. And I think we're starting to have these thoughts because the expectations are bigger. There's my theory, people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you do get after, as you guys know, after so many years, it's so routine, and the deja vu is just so overwhelming. And you have all of these triggers as far as I park my car in the parking lot, I get my bag. It's these same routines over and over, and I'm like, did I show that meme to the kids yesterday or did I do it last year? You really forget. And so you kind of get into a survival mode. And this, basically surviving the last couple of years of my, and I'm still there and I'm still performing and loving on those kids that really, really want to do the Spanish thing. So, and I'm showing up every day for them, even though I'm exhausted.
And can I just interject? Because I'm on this other side where I'm retired but not retired. And the business that I'm starting up, part of, and you kind of touched on it earlier, what I think makes this exciting is that I'm not thrown into a room with people where such a small percent want to be there.
Right.
And instead, I'm offering a service where people want to be there so much they're going to pay valuable money for the service that I provide. And that's an entirely different thing. And I actually am going to have a screening form to be sure that these people that go on these intimate vacations with us are kind, respectful, have big hearts. And if not, I have the right now to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a fit. And it feels great to have that sense of control. And I also wonder if that's part of why it becomes a routine. And what you were saying, Sharon, is for the people that really want to be there. And it's hard to focus on the small number that are there because the other ones that are not wanting to be there require a lot of energy to keep
Mm-hmm.
them not distracting the ones that do.
Right.
And that's another challenge with teaching.
Yeah. Kudos to you for that. Definitely. Yeah.
All right, final thoughts, Sharon. You got something special here, I think, for us.
Oh, my poem. Yes.
Oh,
I wrote a poem after I decided to retire, just kind of putting down my experiences. Here we go. I have taught for 28 years. I have had second jobs. I have taken about 46 days off during my career. I have gone to work with stitches in my head after cancer surgery, vomited into my classroom garbage can, come to work with broken ribs, led a field trip to Coloma with ear infections, been dizzy due to vertigo, had a kid break my toe during a softball game. I have seen kids happy with finally understanding Present Perfect, singing Senor Woolley songs, and reading interesting articles. I have received an email from a student saying I was the worst teacher ever and that I should die. I have been told that I'm their favorite teacher. I have gotten hugs. I have gotten lice. I have had awesome supportive administrators. I have had to file grievances against an administrator. I have had amazing colleagues. I have had a colleague commit suicide. I have had a former parent commit suicide. I have had a former student commit suicide. I have had in-depth and engaging discussions with classes regarding literature, history, being a teacher. I've had paper airplanes, dum-dum sticks, books, and food thrown across the classroom. I've had big smiles when kids repeat the Spanish password. I have survived a pandemic, lockdowns, fire alarms, bomb threats, and a serial killer. I've had parents thank me. I have had parents blame me for their kids missing work. I have received gifts from kids and parents such as artwork, Reese's peanut butter cups, mugs, a backpack, a teacher bag, souvenirs from travel, $900 in cash, wine, gift cards, donuts, brownies, stickers, plants. I have received gifts from the district such as a grocery bag, water bottle, $7 gift card. I have attended kids' hockey games, dance shows, the Nutcracker, DMTC plays, Woodland Opera House shows, baseball games, bat mitzvahs. I have served on site council, superintendent's advisory, history textbook pilot, world language standards, and as union rep. I ran the talent show and field day for 18 years. I have learned about SBAC, STAR, PBIS, UDL, IDEA, BCLAD, CLAD, ADHD, ELL, FAPE, IEP, STEM, RTI, Common Core, MTSS, etc. I have had a kid who attended UCD after 7th grade. I have had kids who read 5 grade levels below. I have had kids who fell in love with reading after reading aloud by The Great Horn Spoon and Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. I have had kids who said they hate reading. I have learned how to use an EpiPen, glucagon, rectal epileptic meds, AED. I have touched the lives of approximately 2,000 kids. I am now almost a retired teacher.
Okay, you got me in tears, Sharon. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, my respects, my respects, my respects. And that's repeated by, you just spoke for every teacher. You are amazing.
Yeah.
We are amazing.
You
You
guys
are
are.
you are a warrior. You're a warm-hearted soul for the kids.
And I would like to say that your poem, Beautiful, encompasses every human experience. Every human experience. That was outstanding.
And I think that as you lay in bed at night, stressed, or maybe when you're unstressed and you're meditating and it's wonderful, you'll have about a whole nother page to add to that of realistic things that have happened over the years and how they've impacted you and impacted the kids and their families.
Thank you.
I have one final question. Sharon, will you come back? Maybe a couple more times, if not more. Maybe early on past retirement, and then maybe one a little bit like a year after retirement, and just keep checking in with you and seeing what this journey of yours is.
I would love to do that. That would be awesome. Unless I'm subbing or something. Just kidding.
I was
Thanks. I almost broke down right there. I'm like, what?
Yeah, actually, can I add something?
Yeah,
course.
please.
I was on my walk yesterday during spring break because I've thought about subbing. Just thought if I'm going to need to see kids, I think, once in a while. And I was walking by our local school, and there was a kid. He was throwing a ball against a classroom door because they're not on spring break in my neighborhood. And I heard a teacher say, "Michael, Michael," and he kept throwing the ball. And again, the teacher's, "Michael, Michael," and he says, "fuck and shit." And I thought, yeah, I'm not going to
No.
be subbing. That was that.
And I have to interject. When I was in Cuba these last 3 months, I met with a teacher who works at the elementary school Maria went to down the street. And I was thinking as I was there, I should go in and just volunteer like once a week and get a feel of what it was like. And when this teacher came and started explaining the things that go on there in the classroom, because I thought perhaps there would be more rules, it would be stricter. All it took was that conversation, and I just no. It was the same thing, Sharon. I'm like, there is
Yeah.
no way. I don't even want to volunteer. I'm gonna go there now, and I think I'll drop off colored pencils and pens
Right.
and art supplies. But that's about as much as I can do.
Oh, gosh. What's happened to our society? Who knows?
It's interesting because I was tempted with the same idea to go back and
too.
sub, especially to help. It was during the pandemic time to help my colleagues who I knew needed a break and needed a sub that would know how to manage that class and those kids and the specifics of what they're doing, and I couldn't bring myself to it. So, even yeah.
Yeah, and we probably shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we've got these wonderful kids as well. I got a
Oh,
wonderful
absolutely.
email from a kid the other day. I think it was for a computer arts class, like, "Hey, email a teacher. Beautiful Spanish. Thank you for being my teacher." I got an email from a parent the other day. So we do have those wonderful times too, and the aha moments and all of that. So I think when all is said and done, we really need to focus on that, and maybe those are the things we'll remember.
You sound just like how we always sound. Bring it back to the kids. That's right.
Be positive. We can't help ourselves.
That wraps up this episode of Retired. Thanks for listening.
Until next week, please feel free to lend your feedback or ask questions by emailing us at retiredpodcastnewtread@gmail.com. You're invited to follow us on Facebook at Retired Podcast New Tread. Check the show notes for links and contact information.
Retired is co-hosted by Sue Britz and Tina Lookbach. It is produced, directed, and edited by me, Sue Britz. Music and graphics are by me too. Please click to subscribe so that you won't miss your chance to join our retired road trip.
That was so fun.